What's going on, you man? DJ Channy Chan back again for another episode of Fresh Fridays. I know it's been a minute, but sometimes having multiple hats, you put some behind others on the hat rack, and then it gets kind of just kind of get kind of caught up a little bit. But we back. That's what we into with it. But I got my homeboy Nate, aka Train Smoke in the building right now. Tell him what's up, man. Let him know what's going on with.
Yeah, man. Just I've been making music passively somewhat. I haven't been training as much just because I've been doing nights and stuff like that. I think I told you that early. Actually, yeah, I think I told you that earlier off the record. Um,
So
but yeah,
yeah, so I'm glad.
you said what now?
Glad that you still. Now I was saying I'm glad that you still keeping yourself on schedule, maintain, organized. Like that's the big thing because I definitely want to see how everything kind of be put together. At the end of the day, because I mean I know you like everything. And that's one big reason why I wanted to have you on because I haven't had anybody who does everything that you do for real.
Okay,
Like being for real. Like in the sports world and in the music world, working.
I'm kind of in the same boat with that shit because I've been trying to make sure I kind of had shit straight on nights because like I ain't been really training like I ain't been training to fight or doing like any music shit lately. Just trying to get shit right at work. Like that's been taking up a lot of my time, especially with the rotation. It's like one rotation is like 5 day. Yeah, one rotation is like it's 5 day weeks and then it's 2 day weeks and it alternates.
Okay.
But like them 5 day.
So really like working. So work is really kind of like put you in a deep rotation. Then what it sound like.
Yeah, because it's like with that, I ain't gonna lie. So job pays really well. I can't lie. Like for me only being 23 and having my own place and all that shit is great. But like I do miss training a lot. But at the same
Mm.
time, like okay, I can't train if I ain't got no job. You know what I'm saying?
Not for real. Not boxing fees, but gym fees and stuff. Like gotta. I mean, you can tell me the whole spiel if you want to, because for real, like the premise of this show is to really just get an idea of where you are within your world, your creative process, just kind of like how you handle yourself. Because, I mean, I've brought producers on. I've never brought somebody who's fought and made music, but you know what I mean? There's always people who kind of like have different disciplines or like they have, I say, a well roundedness about them to
Yeah,
where people can't just say or assume anything about you. Just when you tell them that you do might be one or two things, you still don't know until you actually talk to somebody.
yeah. Shit. I mean, the main thing with fighting in music for me has been support, man. Because it's like I haven't really had any like friends or family come out to a whole bunch of my stuff like music or hold on, my bad.
Like you.
But no, I haven't had anybody come out to anything music or fighting related really. Like shit, Irv, he came to my shit. He came to my I had a combat jujitsu match in Fayetteville that I won, and he came there. But other than him, yeah, ain't nobody really came to my events. So that's really been the main thing with both for me because it's just like I do have a passion for it, but at the same time, it's like if I'm not making money from it and I'm putting all this time and effort, it's just kind of like all right. On top of it, and that's on
Hmm.
top of me working.
Yeah. And I mean, I think like that's the quintessential struggle like we all kind of have when it comes down to wanting to have a place in entertainment or music, but
Yeah,
just knowing that, especially now, like from the independent scene, at least, there's really like only like maybe a few avenues where you can really get some steady income. Like, and that's like, you getting booked or that's if you selling merch, you know.
yeah,
If you're not doing either one of them things, like, selling your music, I'm not saying that it's, I'm not saying that it's an afterthought, but these days, music selling is more of a byproduct of something that you already kind of push out and people connect to a thing as opposed to you just being a musician, you having a sense of like how you want to portray yourself. And it could be some super low key stuff or it can be like I'm popping up everywhere, but every time I'm out, like I always have like something with me so that you can take that with you and stuff. But
Yeah,
we don't have that anymore. Like that's not truly much of a thing. Like you can't be an artist and not have all those other things that make somebody well rounded. You get what I'm saying?
yeah. So with music, I've always enjoyed it. Like even in my free time, I might make a little something on my like. I got a Roland MC 707. I might try and make something up there because I like the drum kits, and then it's got like fucking a million sounds up there. I love that thing. But anyway, yeah, I'll make beats up there in my free time, and like I'll send it to my friends and shit, just like to see what they think about it. Like I sent you a few, and that's really about it for right now. Cause like I don't really want to put a whole bunch of time and energy into a project, and I'm working overnight 12 just for nobody to give me any type of support or anything on it. And I understand some of that
I
stuff,
feel
like
that.
go out, you got a network, which I don't mind doing, but it's just like finding genuine support where it's mutual. They're not trying to either leech off you or manipulate you or trying to get over on you. It's kind of hard to find in North Carolina, at least. There's a few artists that I trust here and there, but like it's very difficult to find.
I feel that. From a industry side, or at least like from like a admin side, the music business in North Carolina hasn't reached a point to where I feel like everybody who wants to be in the world could have like that one to one situation where they'll have, okay, I got somebody who I can go to, or listening to some of my demos, I got somebody I can go to that I could bounce off ideas with about management, or
Yeah.
trying to I find places that I can be at and actually showcase what I'm doing music wise. Because I mean, at the other side of it is you're a DJ too. Like I still I still kind of like equate that too, and that's one of the things I was talking to
Yeah.
somebody the other day about. Like we're probably one of the we're probably one of the easier grabs for a regular consumer to want to actually like reach out to, engage with the book than an
Yeah.
artist, or maybe somebody who makes music, like per se makes music. But I feel like we have like some of the easiest routes to actually be more out there as a serviceman or a service person. But generally speaking, I think too that when we do stuff like that, or when we try to create these avenues for us to be out there for like for more people, we start to put ourselves into different boxes, and it's not a bad thing, because for a time, just being a bar DJ or being a wedding DJ for certain periods of my time doing it
Yeah.
has kind of opened up many doors. But at the same time, like you got to think about like how much time it takes to brand yourself as some of these things,
So
or try to work a situation into it. But what you about to say?
no, I was gonna say, so with the box, it's good from I think that it's good and bad because when you go to these spaces and okay, I can play this exact same set at different places for different events, or I can just throw in some different stuff just so it's not the exact same set and it'll still get the same reactions. It's kind of good in that sense, but I feel like it also creatively stifles you. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like it's kind of cool when you kind of have that safety net of okay, I'm at a bar. I know from the crowd that's here right now, if I play this, I mix it into that. I try to work some different transitions and shit like that. Like I know that that's gonna work, but at the same time, it's also like if I play something different in those spaces, they're kind of gonna be looking like, okay, what's this? Because it's
It
not
can be that. It can be that because I mean, at the end of the day, you're still a performer, and you want to, you still want to give somebody, or you want to give your crowd a different experience than what somebody else is giving. And I think that's one big thing that has kind of found itself in North Carolina right now, where like at a lot of different places, depending on where you go, certain DJs do play like similar sets, or like they might have like a certain set that they just kind of stick to, and it just kind of like becomes a norm, and it's kind of hard to it's not necessarily hard to pull away from that and kind of set yourself up how you want to. It's not hard, but it is hard when it's like if you're trying to do that, and let's say a place that already has a crowd and you're just a fill in for the night. Like you want to create a sense of what you are, but then you don't want to slide too much from the status quo, and then they be like, well, we can't really deal with that nigga. Like he want to play what he want to play. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so it's dance from the good back and forth. I do feel like I personally, speaking as like if somebody were to go out more often, I would
Yeah.
want to hear different things than what I'm used to hearing.
And that's the thing,
And I
like
mean, hey,
with wait, no, what are you saying, my bad?
no, you good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's the thing with like I feel like you in North Carolina at least, a lot of the artists is either trap or it's R&B. You might get maybe like a boom bap artist every now and then, but that's every few networking events you go to, they'll be sprinkled in there. But like for the most part, it's probably trap and R&B, and it kind of feels like that's what I kind of mean by like it feels like you're in a box because it's like let's say a smaller artist tries to come out with I don't know, for example, like some type of like rock or something like that, and tries to go to showcase and say like actually fuck it here Greensboro. They're gonna be looking at them like who the fuck is this?
Actually, it's a weird pool because like there's a play for everybody. Because I mean, just like how if they go to a showcase and they're alternative style, or they might have like some instrumentation, or they might bring Ableton or production to their show set.
Yeah,
It won't necessarily be an occasion where it can be one of two things. It can either be like real dope and
yeah,
maybe like a few people kind of fuck with it, or it's like real dope or kind of funny and you ain't like really understanding fully like where they're getting at with it, and it just falls flat. But like when they get these mini bars, these little restaurants that want to have like the live shows, stuff like that, that's when they have to like do the footwork and put themselves in those doors and really show themselves as a performer.
yeah.
And then that opens up all types of doors. But even here in the North Carolina market, I ain't gonna flex to you. How you are, or how you present yourself, or who you are in certain places can dictate whether or not you will be in those places or not.
It really like I do agree with you on that where there can be kind of spaces that you find that are very open if you kind of have an alternative style because like there's a lot of places there's yeah actually there's like boiler rooms and stuff like that as far as like the open mics and the showcases you won't find it a lot but with the boiler rooms and stuff like that it kind of gives a lot of DJs chances to. I see it a lot with colleges. I don't really see it a lot with outside of. Yeah, I don't really see it a lot outside of colleges here, but it kind of I like them
Mm-hmm.
because they give like DJs a chance to kind of give you different sounds, different styles instead of just like the same shit that you would hear like on the radio all fucking day. You get what I'm saying?
I think one of my favorite ones used to be done in Raleigh. And I mean they did it around this time of year, like around like August, like September. Uh, to to definitely try to also entice the college market, because places like Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro, Charlotte,
Yeah, college.
they feed off of that.
Yeah, that's good
We're
money.
Yeah, I don't think like when it comes down to it, we're behind. But like when you think about like Atlanta, Memphis, DC, like even though bigger cities like that have college demographics, it's like they aren't primarily dedicated to that.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that I think that we're behind. It's just I found that a lot of the artists, I'm not going to say they can be put in a box, but a lot of the genres kind of are the same with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them. A lot of the songs are,
And drilling it up a little bit.
huh?
Um, I was saying like when you still come to some of these showcases, like you still see like good, you still see a big drill scene, you still see a big trap scene. It ain't
Yeah, drill,
ain't
trap,
bad. It's just
R&B. You might
yeah.
have
But so you might get R&B. That's the big one. Really.
You might find you
Yeah, I'd be hoping for it more.
it's a few. I'm not on. There's one thing I do like about Greensboro. It is a lot more R&B here. Like it's not just trap. I will say that is one thing I do like about the music scene up here.
But it's still like, you know, it's not like a heavy promoted or heavy marketed genre. You
No,
know, if
not.
I were to go on if I were to go on like, one of the hot stations right now going up the road, um I feel like a R&B song would be like every third or fourth song, not necessarily every other.
Yeah,
And you know, some
but
of the some of the more like hitish songs of R&B right now are songs that have been probably out for like maybe the past year or two, not necessarily songs that have like, recently come out the past 3 to 6 months.
yeah. Um, and that's kind of why, like I was telling you earlier, like some of the stuff that I'll make, I'll just like send to my friends and stuff like that for right now. Because like I think I sent you. Yeah, the last few things I sent you, I think have been house. That's mainly what I've been doing, at least right now.
Mm.
But like I know house is not house is not going to do well here. We talked on the phone about that.
Yeah, but I still
Unless
say
it's
that to give it
like
up because I mean,
unless it's
it's just.
unless it's people who are genuinely like because you know some people like say they love music and then it's like
Mhm.
but it's really like I love these three or four genres of music. So like it depends on where I'm at, but I think a lot of the time it's probably going to fall flat.
I see, I see, I see. It's like things evoke differently everywhere. Like I know for a fact, like it would be tough for me where I'm at right now
Yeah,
to ever like go to a bar, or go to a club, like Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, anywhere. Maybe Greenville, but like just anywhere like around there saying, hey, can I have like, a night where I'm playing stuff like K Tronada or like
that's what I'm saying.
Thundercat or like, ain't about to fully go or, swing fully. Like, you gotta really like, boy, you gotta break a leg that
Yeah,
going
bro. I
just to
spend some,
convince mud.
bro. Like I spent, bro. If I do another thing where I'm like DJing once a week and I spend some fucking Goldie, bro, the promoter's gonna have me shot. The, the promoter's gonna have me shot if I play Goldie, bro. Like I don't think House is gonna do well here, especially if I'm spending that shit all night back to back to back. Fuck no.
Yeah, that's why like it was just what I was telling you. What I've come to find now that I hate that it's not really a Eastern North Carolina thing yet, but I think it could turn into that eventually. But the open deck situation is kind of spiking a little bit. Like there's one that happened in Durham, I think last month. Um, they happen a lot more often in Charlotte. So I know with that gap that there's probably going to be, more over the course of the rest of the year. Especially with the whole sense of the multiple DJs on a set list
Yeah,
format. Like I've been seeing that like, more and more over the past, year or two. Uh, it's only getting more prevalent. So I definitely feel like it's about to be a time where, you know, you're gonna hear Afrobeat for like 30 minutes and for and a night, then you're gonna hear trap for like, 30 minutes, then you're gonna hear R&B with Jersey Club and Baltimore Club, and then somebody gonna end it off with some Amapiano, some house, some it's gonna drift all through that, you know eventually. But I don't know what the scene is gonna like be. I don't think it's gonna be in a club. I don't think it could, stem from like, festivals or, smaller niche events,
Yeah, man. Like
but it's gonna happen around that.
I would. Like there was like when I was DJing in downtown Greensboro, there are a lot of ideas that I had, but I remember the second week getting a call and like just them telling me just like play hits just all night, just nothing but hits, and I was like, okay, cool, I can do that. Which it kind of started to take a toll on me after a while, but that's a story for after we get off
For sure.
here. Yeah, but
You know, in the showcase world, it's like shit. I ain't about to run, like run it dry, run them dead. And I mean, it depends on like timing too. Like that's what I like about this whole alternative scene thing now. Like people aren't having 10 to 2s as often anymore. Like it's all across the board now. So if you can get away with a day party, you can do a 12 to 5 or a 2 to 5, 2 to 7, something. Or even if you don't want to have like a whole night, you can still make way with 8 to 12 or something like that, just so you're not like really competing with like the main act crowd, because we're still at the end of the day we're still competing with like major acts that come to Raleigh PNC, uh, Greensboro, in the Pavilion, Charlotte in the Spectrum Ring. Like people still come out to those places, and people even still like book major acts to come out here like rather often. Like it's cheap to do that out here, so they're
yeah,
not gonna stop doing it. But
um,
at the end of the day, it's all about how we as creatives keep allowing ourselves to be what's already here, which is a ear to what people are asking for, and then also a receptacle to these things that we can actually put together and make for them. Because we can make this shit happen. I hear all the time people say, "Damn, I wish there was a throwback night. Damn, I wish there was an R&B night. Damn, I wish there was a house night. Damn, I wish there was an Afrobeat, dancehall Caribbean night and stuff like that." And it's like, I mean, just tell me where you at, or tell me where you're willing to go.
I will say that there is one place that they do have open DJ. They do have open DJ like days and shit like that. I think it's every fourth Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And then they have R&B nights every Sunday too. That's Gate City Tavern here in Greensboro. Um, but I do like that they kind of. I will say that since it's open deck, they do allow you to kind of have your own sound.
Each individual DJ that's performing.
Yeah, you get a certain like
Yeah.
time slot, but I will say like back to what I was saying earlier. My bad. Um, I feel like I would love to do a smaller event, but there's like I'd love to be able to do something to where I felt like I have like had more creative control because there were a lot of ideas
Mhm.
I had, but it kind of felt like okay, either this is gonna fall flat or they're gonna call me asking me not to play it again, even if it does well. So I'm like, I don't.
I mean, that's where whenever you get back into a full swing, because I, I think that's one thing I always kind of I always stress to you is like when you come across these situations, um, whether it's like private bar, club, show like showcase or open mic, whatever it might be, just like go ahead and get everything on the table with the people that you're dealing with for real, because you
Yeah,
know. if you gotta sit and just stick to a program that they already got set, hey, just tell me tell me what you're talking about up from beginning to end, and I'll tell you what I want from beginning to end. We in there, but if it's something where you asking more than what it's paying for,
Yeah.
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, that was the thing for me too, man. Because I did originally agree to the price, but then I started doing it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is draining. Because I told you I was DJing on Wednesdays. Um,
But then working too, and then I think training
yeah,
too,
I
right?
was DJing, so that thing, which everything's good with them now. It's no like beef or no malice or
Iffy shit,
anything.
and
I say this, but like, yeah, I was coming in there. I was getting off of work because I was working 6 to 2 at the time. I was getting off. I was maybe getting a nap, maybe, and that's if that it depends on how long it took me to put the set together, get everybody's music and stuff like that. And then I would go in there around 8, and I wouldn't get all. I probably wouldn't get out till around 1 or 2, depending on how many people came out. And then I was having to go to sleep, maybe get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and then wake up Thursday and then go back to work because it was Monday through Friday.
decently weird, decently weird.
But yeah, that shit was draining, man. It's probably probably would have been better had I not had the job, but shit, I needed the job. So I mean,
You mean in between? Shoot, I feel like I feel like my best times, or at least like the times where I really had the opportunity to build a foundation, were when I had steady work while I was still gigging.
yeah,
Because the flip side of just kind of like doing it completely, it's it's a grind for real. And I mean, it's unconscious comparison and competition. Like like the game is always like you're competing with yourself first. You're trying to get better for yourself every day. But at the
yeah,
same time, you're also competing with things that are already in place and people that already have a lot of the same aspirations, views, and wants as you. And you have to think like, do you have like what it takes to really like give it buck 152, like especially like with wanting to charge what you're really worth. Like that's the other and real side of it. Like if
yeah. A
if
lot of
you're really telling yourself like you want it, and then you gotta like you at least gotta stick behind. I'm trying to I'm trying to like produce a value that is stable across the board, and nobody touches it unless like it's one of the situations where I'm getting more than what I'm used to getting, and that's from across the whole situation. That's that's a crowd, that's a new market, that's a new place, like it's a lot of different things.
yeah, a lot of it is politicking too, because like it don't matter what
Mm.
the fuck you do. You could be a damn fry cook at Wendy's. It's gonna be fucking politics there. A lot of this shit is going to be politics. And when I was younger, I thought that shit just applied to like whenever you're doing really important shit. But now it's just kind of like, yeah,
It's
I've
cyclical. I'm sorry, it's
everything.
cyclical. It goes everywhere.
Yeah, but some of that shit comes down to how well you politic and all of that other shit, like how calm you are and your nerves and shit like that, which I'm not gonna lie. When I was DJing, felt the fuck out that test because I was just aggravated and tired every week. I'm not gonna lie, Lau. I'm not gonna lie. Could I did a lot better as far as that? Hell yeah. But like looking back, I was fucking drained just from like doing that every week. And then Saturday and Sunday, I would do DoorDash and shit too, just to like make even more like money on the side.
Man, you feel me? Like, the hope is, to optimize everything. That's like always the real hope is
Yeah,
that, you find like one or a few things. Like that's why I really, at the beginning, I really wish I would have not necessarily focused on really grasping the foundations of production, but like at least like really, really like understanding a style that I liked and like perfecting it so that like now when it comes down to like making new things, I always have like a basis to go back to. I don't feel like I have that. Like I think I just kind of keep finding new techniques and new things to try,
mhm,
and it ends up being like stuff that I do like, but it's still like I'm still at a I'm still at a part of my life where it's like, damn, like I really feel like I wish that now as a DJ and a producer, because that's when I'm about to start like really stapling myself more as than what I was before.
mhm.
Um, I really wish like I looked at it as I can make a beat in maybe like 30 minutes to an hour in a good sitting, depending on how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah,
And I remember like the first few ones I made, I actually did make money off of, and if I would have kept up the network and the consistency of collaborating with others and going back and forth and just looking at it as a full ecosystem thing,
yeah.
then I could probably be making more from production than I do from DJing. But it's never too late because I'm still getting at it. I need to get back into it a little bit harder. But I got a new little toy today. Well, not today. I got it a few days ago. That's gonna be a cool thing for like streaming. So it's gonna help with like the accountability side of things for anybody who wants to tune in later to like some other shit that I'm gonna be cooking up like real soon, like some this week type shit. Soon. There we go. Shoot. If you could take if you could take one thing out of the North Carolina music scene right now to hopefully make it better, what would it be?
Um, so I wouldn't just say this about North Carolina. I would say this in general. I feel like
As a whole.
in the 2000s, it was a lot easier to maybe not nationally, but at least regionally blow up or be well known in your region. But now, since the radio is a whole bunch of shit from artists from all around, like everywhere now, instead of like just a specific, not necessarily a specific regional sound, but artists from that area, and it sound kind of has similar sounds because everybody has access to the same shit.
Hmm.
I feel like back then it was a lot easier for artists to, well, I guess in the 90s too, but I was not alive for the 90s, so I can't really speak on that too much. But yeah, I feel like in the 2000s it was a
They
lot.
would still, yeah, they would still have to carve themselves out in some of the bigger areas, some of the metros. So they'd have to still go to places like New York or California. There wasn't like as many what do they call them? Boutique. Uh, uh, God dang, I'm about to call them stations, but like
Yeah,
labels. So like now, it's like every major artist has even like a independent conglomerate within, a major, uh like J. Cole with what is it, RCA, or
Yeah,
not RCA, but uh or just say for instance, like, Jay-Z had a deal with Sony, but he still had Rock Nation, no matter what. Which
I
I'm
will.
pretty sure it still kind of goes in that hand in hand.
I will say, like, so with, I felt like it was a lot easier for the artists because another thing, like, you could literally walk in like a music store that was like a mom and pops, or maybe even a big one if you knew the owner, and be like, hey, or like if you could, or if you had a chance to talk to the owner and be like, hey, I've got this album. If you want to listen to it, I have so and so amount of copies I can sell you for this much. I'll let you listen to it, and they would actually be down to listen. You do that shit today, they're gonna be like, bro, get the fuck out my store. Unless it's a mom and pops,
Yeah, for real.
they might fuck with you, but like a lot of the time, especially today, probably not.
Yeah, it had to be like one of those like real neat. You had to do some shit like it had to be in a I'm about to say, what are they called? Not Redfish. Cool Kid Records.
Yeah,
Because they got like a tape section, they got a cassette section, they got a vinyl section, and they got a CD section. So, it had to be one of the situations where that they got a few other locations, and that you have a CD that's currently like a little bit more sought after, or at least like something that's a little bit more sought after from the physical side that people would actually want to claim in that way. Because with digital now, like being it's the everybody format.
yeah,
It makes it easy for you to kind of like pull up anything anywhere, um, share something between two people, almost like nothing. Post it to a page that might actually like look at it like from like a million different subscriptions or accounts or whatever. Like, it's that crazy now where people are like, physical is cool from like a novelty standpoint. Like,
yeah,
if you still have a CD player, or if you still have, a Oakley LP, LP kit, which I personally don't even like their vinyl sets, but like at the end of the day, some people still buy these things because, for one, the quality is always going to be a little bit better. Two, you're more directly supporting the artist at the end of the day, as opposed to just streaming somebody's music. Or, I mean, shoot, I'll buy somebody's stuff on iTunes just to say I bought it. I mean, not just say just to say I bought it, but you know what I mean, like just so they can still at least get like a better reap out of it than like me just streaming the song. Because I mean, it's crazy. It takes what, like a million just for somebody to get like maybe a few thousand, like a few $1,000s.
you said what now?
I was saying, like, don't it take like about a million streams for you to get like maybe a few $1,000s?
I think it's more than that, bro. Because that's like them share, like them percentages are small for like
I
everything.
know it's like
Apple Music.
0.0001 of a percent, and all this.
You said what?
Well, sorry, it's like 0.00036 of a cent and all the other shit per stream, and you know as long as you still got your publishing, you still get, something like something decent. But if you ain't got your publishing, you ain't got your master, your master recording for it, you looking sad. But granted, like how most artists that are independent like these days work, they have like a makeshift recording situation, or like if they do take it to an engineer, the engineer's just touching up vocals and maybe messing with the beat. If they're recording it at their whole, at that situation, they're scratching out a deal at the end so that points ain't looking lopsided, and is it like, look, I paid you at the beginning, for the services and everything. If I need to pay a little extra on the back end to make sure I get all like recording money from this, then I will. But at the end of it, I do see that it's it's like one of those things that if you don't really have like the full sense of it from tip to toe, like you just end up, just feeling like you're owed more when if you would have did things differently at the beginning, it
Yeah,
would have worked out for you a lot better. Just to explain that, that's it. 'Cause I'm still getting the best grasp of the recording side to the best sense because I don't want to, draw myself out as an expert because I mean I didn't go to school for it. I've only just been a practitioner in it, over the past 10 years. So it's like, it's different across the board when you have people who like it's been their life for like almost ever, and you find something and now you're making it your life. You're making it a big part of what it is that you want to do. So you don't want to be abused in the process of it, but you also still want to look at it as, I just want to have, a few good times with some folks, get my feelings, just kind of laid out, pieced out, recorded however I want to do about it, and just try to, try to connect the dots with more things with like each time that I make something. You know, somebody says, "Oh, damn, I didn't think that you did that. I didn't know that you had bookings as a DJ. I didn't know that you made beats. I didn't know that you actually like to make songs." And it's like, everything like that just kind of comes full circle. That's what I wanna. That's what I wanna like, really get back to, especially with getting this back going, getting beats back going, getting a whole lot of parts of my life in the direction that I feel like I need to make this matter. I think it matters now, but I think I haven't seen the things that I've been wanting to see, and I feel like I'm meant to see.
I did other stuff before I tried to like do music exclusively. I tried to model and act. Modeling, it did
Tyler
not.
Perry's still hiring, man.
Huh?
I said Tyler Perry's still hiring, bro.
Hell no. Hell no. He gonna slap some. Hey, bro, he gonna slap crazy versions on my head. I'm okay.
You gonna say some stuff like, "Hey man, I need you to slap some meat on the grill," and what you say?
Hey, man. I don't know. He gonna have me shirtless and something, bro. I'm okay.
Nah, I feel like the worst he'd probably do for you is like he'd probably make you a drug dealer in like a few scenes. The one
Right, here's
that's
the
like,
thing
kind
with
of
me,
like back
bro.
and forth between.
Here's the thing
You
with
said
me.
what?
Either Tyler Perry would make me the drug dealer, or he would make me shave all my shit off and make me the love interest. Because they always, bro. Either they got full on beards or they
Ball light
shit is
skinned nigga.
clean shaven, bro. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, not for real though. Cause Ely Show was like ball for real, and then like the first husband, yeah, the husband, and I was about to say, why did I get married? Dude, there's a bunch of bald niggas in that. Matter of fact, the bald nigga in that is the worst nigga. It seems like the bald nigga usually is like the
Boy, you
worst
talking
nigga
about
in
the one
almost
that's married
every
to Jill Scott, bro?
yes.
Bro, listen,
It's
listen.
not, they always the worst niggas, but they brown skinned niggas. You light skinned, so it's different. I don't think he gonna do that to you.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like he would have me beating my wife, but like he might have me doing some crazy shit in there. Though. I don't know.
Because I don't think he. It's like it's a coin toss for light skinned niggas. I think you either like in family
Also,
reunion,
here's the
you
thing. No,
you
no,
save
no, no.
you saving
Actually,
a mug.
no, 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 no. Let me cut you off. My fault. My fault.
Hey,
Tyler
good.
Perry, you were right in hell for what you did to Jill Scott. You had these four had Jill Scott and lingerie and had that man laughing at her, bro. Jill Scott, fuck you, Tyler Perry. Fuck you.
Look, and I can't even support the side piece because she was bad too. But I was just like, man, like, bro, really like came and like demolished the whole vacation for everybody. Like,
No, I'm saying
and
fuck the whole shit. I'm saying, bro.
like that joke was hilarious. Like, it wasn't hilarious. It was sad, but it was just like, damn, like. You
Nah,
know,
Janet Jackson.
if you gonna
Janet
treat your
Jackson.
wife like that, treat your wife like that at the house or something. Like
Nah,
that's just messed up. Like,
Janet Jackson husband was kind of crazy too, though. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, all right, because like, what was he like? Because she was a therapist and he was a
I don't remember what the fuck. I don't remember what the fuck he
I
was.
can't
Like,
remember, but
bro,
like they was one of them couples where it's like they personal life like they both professionals, so
I
it's like
remember.
they already high strung as fuck.
I remember him treating her like shit, and then him trying to pull off and him getting hit by what is it, a truck or something?
But the thing, see, you forgetting because like she pulled up to his job with the cake and out popped the niggas. You forgot about that. You forgot she came to work doing all that, doing crazy stuff. So they did a lot of back. They was doing a lot of toxic stuff back and forth with each
You
other,
know what? Yeah.
and it was just because of the divorce. Because of the divorce, that was all really it boiled down to. But I mean, like Tyler Perry. I mean, I feel like I and not to get too not to get too long winded because the episodes don't be too long, but
Yeah.
like everybody who watching like this is like my real life bro for real. Like this nigga, me and this mother, like we'll definitely chop it up about anything for real.
Yeah.
So this is like nothing to us, but
I
like generally with oh you about to
What'd you say now?
nah I was trying to hear what you was about to say.
Oh nah, what had happened with the acting, right? So I don't
Mm.
remember the name, out of sight, out of mind. Anyway, he's trying to shoot. It was the second installment of this movie. I'd seen it on YouTube and it wasn't too bad. So I had applied for it, and he was like, "Okay, um, they were gonna have me be like the love interest in that movie's brother or something like. I think, yeah, the love interest brother." So they called me the morning up. So they don't not they call they message me the morning of when I'm already in Charlotte, basically saying like, "Oh yeah, we're not shooting anymore, but we're doing headshots if you want to," and charging for them. By the way, after I came up here from Greensboro, I said, "Nah, I'm all right, man." And I just hung out with my homies because I was like, "Fuck it, let me at least do something up here instead of driving right back home because that's probably gonna piss me off more."
Sweet and bait, bitch. Ain't nobody trying to get no shots still, man. I was trying to get on Tubi. Like, what you mean?
Nah, he was on YouTube. I don't know if his shit's on Tubi or not. I have to try and look for it again. But no, yeah, that's
It
yeah.
ain't never too late
He,
neither, man. Shoot, especially with like, people doing independent stuff more often these days.
so he, so I tried to do it again because he was like, "Okay, this is the date we're gonna do it," and then he had messaged me like, I don't even think it was like a day later and was like, "Do you know anybody that we can get for a female role?" And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna just leave it alone," because I was like, if I drive up to Charlotte again for y'all to be talking about y'all ain't filming, it's gonna be an issue because that's where he was at. It was about 3 hours round trip. Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna talk about doing some other shots, getting some shit.
He said what?
So especially they're gonna talk about doing some damn headshots and shit again. Like, man, come on.
I was about to say for the second time, I'd have just been like, all right, he ain't talking about shit. But yeah, that's why I let that.
So yeah, I can.
If I'd be open to modeling and acting, but the thing is just like I genuinely like want to do it with people who are actually serious and passionate about it and want to be organized about the shit. It's just like I was telling you earlier, I got a job where I work overnight 12s. Like if I'm doing something with you, like I understand stuff's not gonna be perfect. I get that. But like if we can get that shit at least as organized as fucking possible, like that'd be great. You get what I'm saying? I understand it's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna like with entertainment and shit like that, it's not gonna be perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. But like it's just can we make sure everybody's set in place, everybody's coming, ain't nobody gonna say, hey, I don't want to come to this shit anymore or I can't the last minute and it's not an emergency. Why I
Yeah.
gravitated towards fighting because they're set places. I know if I go to Matrix or if I go to Battleborn, which I haven't been able to train too much here lately, just because, like I say, at work and trying to get stuff right. But I know if I go to Battleborn, if I go to Matrix, somebody's 9 times out of 10 is gonna be there that can help me in some way, shape, or form. If not, I can do other stuff to help myself while I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like I know
Boil
okay,
down to.
oh, both of these gyms, these are people that I fought doing MMA. Whereas with music and shit like that, it's just kind of like okay, he's been doing this for I don't know, let's say 15, 20 years, but he's still kind of local, and it's like he knows a lot of the people around the area, but it's just like to like he doesn't really know too much on how to get artists to that next level. Which I'm not using anybody as an example. I'm just using that as an example.
No, I get it. I get it. I think I really want to improv related events or things like that around here. Because I mean,
Oh, like comedy or
shoot,
like
there were things. I mean, anything from comedy to like small theater. Because like I do want to find people that like the arts and they want to try different different types of projects.
mhm.
And I hate to say it in a cheap way, but like I'm really just looking for more freelancers, more people I can kind of you know bring along in a situation and try to see what they know, see if they can help me get up to a place with, I guess, when it comes down to making my own content and stuff like that. Because I feel like this whole stuff gets stale whenever you stop trying to. I don't want to say change. I mean, yeah, change, but yeah, all of it just stops whenever you just stop trying to grow.
Mhm.
And
That's
and the content side is like really it's been my crutch for years. So I'm really trying to see how I can grow more effectively with that.
that's kind of where I'm at with that's kind of where I'm at with music too, because I feel there's there's not really a lot of clicks that I felt like I've really naturally just kind of meshed with in North Carolina. There's some people whose music that I like and stuff like that. Like there's artists
Mm.
that I'll play their stuff, like I have their stuff in my playlist, shit like that. But it's like I like as far as the group and who they're like I guess with, I don't feel like I'm really a natural fit, especially these trap niggas, bro. These motherfuckers is out here selling drugs. They got guns and shit, nigga. Bro, I be in here watching Pokemon and drinking juice, bro. The fuck I look like this? The fuck I look like next to them?
I mean, listen though, listen. They be saying that you can't trust the not say you can't trust, but you can't discount um a blur, or a black person that likes alternative sources of media and entertainment. You feel me? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
we all have like our own little. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you probably still know a good about, yeah, a good amount about like all of what kind of like goes down in life. Because I ain't gonna say like you need to know how to, you don't need to know how to like clear some base. You don't need to know how to how to get in and out somebody whip. You don't need to know how like, you know what I'm saying. But like
yeah,
you might need to at least know like who's involved with what, and like where you need to steer from, and like what you need to like try to gravitate more towards. And you know not to say that these people can't be upstanding, but like at the same time, where you are and where you're trying to go. So, just having discernment and like listening to what somebody got to tell you, and if it fits, yeah, the worst thing that can happen is, you know, maybe you get switched up on in a non lethal way, but at the very least, you ain't gonna put your whole, life or
yeah.
livelihood at
Uh,
risk.
yeah, I don't. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, so that was one of the examples, but another one of the examples is just kind of like it kind of feels like a lot of people here tend to gatekeep with a lot of their clicks, a
Hmm.
lot of the knowledge and stuff that they have here, at least, which because a lot of people feel like they're in competition, which I guess to a degree, yes. But if I can give you some knowledge that you didn't have previously that helps you greatly, you can do the same for me. Like we can both still be greatly successful instead of sitting there being like, oh, that nigga a DJ too. Oh, he make beats too. Fuck him.
Hmm. But like the only weird thing about it is that it's like maybe it's because I'm getting older, and I'm actually like seeing it from like the sides of, I did wish whenever I first started doing all of this that I had more people like you and a few others that I've come across in life who have kind of like helped me look at the creative side of life and look at where I want to take my musicianship and like DJing and producing and all these other things. But then I also see like where I'm at now and the people that start. And some people start for great reasons, and I'm offering for them to continue on their path and their journey, and to grow. And the end statement before I actually end is, we can all eat. That's the whole thing. Like, we all can make situations happen, and we can all create opportunity for ourselves.
Yeah,
Um, Now the other side is some people want to come into situations for a quick bag, and
yeah,
I didn't think of, well, and you tell me this, because I mean I think of it more and more each day, from, well, I don't really care, because nobody like ever makes me feel a way about it. But my entry into DJing was one of those ways. Well, first I was making beats first. I was making beats just because I don't know. I think I just finally just said I want to do something, to keep up with, music in a way that I can hold to myself, as opposed to like being in the band, being in any groups that I had been in from high school and middle school and going in forward. Like, I started fairly, to maybe certain people's standards, I started a little late when it came down to like starting off making beats. I think I was like 20. Yeah, I was like 21 ish making beats.
yeah. I was like
Um,
18 when I started.
so like the one aspect that I got from it at the beginning was, I want to do something with this that I didn't expect myself to actually think that I could do.
Mm,
Because like when I picked it up, I didn't imagine it beforehand. It was just like, I've loved music all my life, and it's like I hadn't been put into circles to actually like touch any of like this heavier stuff, but like I had somebody in my life who played keyboard, and all I saw was like you need like little things like that. You don't need anything great. You don't need like a 200 key Akai. You don't need you know a modulator that got like all types of synths preloaded and all the other stuff. Like you just really need like just something to like kind of start off with. And when I just picked up like one of the few random things, like producing and DJing, I found literally in the same place, and that was at Traded. That was at my job that I got after my first time coming back home from college, and it definitely it definitely helped me when it came to really just how to work in a adaptive sense, like how to just kind of like find something, mess with it a little bit, get as much as I could out of it, and try to like compartmentalize a way for somebody to understand what it is that I'm showing or doing so that they can, buy into it. It was really like the job that kind of like really helped me be a salesperson or for me to really like network with people. And it even like was a job that like allowed me the idea of having skills or even just looking at life differently than just working a regular job. I mean, I worked a
yeah,
regular job there, but like, everything that you had in that store, you had to know how it worked. Or at least like you needed to know how to test show it and basically allow the customers, you know, curiosity of it or even like just they walk past it and they look at it and they see the deal of it and they're like, you know, should I be getting this? And it's like if you're looking at it long enough, you really should be getting it. Like the only thing that's talking yourself out of it is yourself. So, I'm gonna help you get to the finish line at the end of the day. Uh, and I helped myself to the finish line plenty of times there with a bunch of things. Uh, and I like to think that if I hadn't, then I wouldn't have found some of the best investments in my life. Um, as far as like life lessons that I needed to learn, people that I needed to meet, uh, things that I needed to see and do, and I still need more. I still need to see more and do more. But I just don't need to let go of what I first saw in it when I first started. And sometimes it gets like that. You forget like why you start sometimes.
yeah, I've had times where I was very doubtful myself, especially with music. That's kind of why, as part of the reason I kind of got away from it for a little bit before I really started at least making stuff on my own time. I almost kind of had like an imposter syndrome with fighting too, but I've got past that at this point. Now it's just kind of trying to find the, I guess, time to balance training with working overnight like that. That's really the main thing for me. Just making sure that I can still like work well and shit like that, not be dead tired all night after training like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At the end of it all, we're gonna find the road or the road that we're meant to be on, because
Yeah.
that's just what it all like boils down to. We know our passions, we know what we feel like we want to give to the world and show ourselves that we're capable of doing, and it's all just about finding finding the balance, within all the stress of trying to maintain things, like work, a roof over, a way to get back and forth, all that stuff, and then just also trying to not feel so numb to all those things happening and still feel like I can flourish out or I can at least start to keep back out those things that I found a long time ago or we found a long time ago and we can just, kind of like just push them out, because I do that every morning with a set. I at least go about like 10, 15 minutes and into one, and I'm about to start working more into incorporating a live, like a consistent live every day. This is the first like mention of it, so I don't know when this is gonna actually like release. Like this episode right now, it's probably gonna be, if not next week, it's probably gonna be the week after that.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but but more than likely we're gonna probably be in, hopefully week two of a new consistent streak of, just me just tapping into that, into that world more because I need it, like for me to do what I'm trying to do like on a consistent scale and like
Mhm.
even just kind of market and brand myself like
Mhm.
as a DJ, as a producer and all that. I gotta have that. I gotta have like that element, and I gotta be doing it like way better and more often than anybody around where I'm at right now, which I'm pretty sure I will be, and I should have an option too. I just gotta stay on the path.
Mhm.
You gotta knock these niggas out, and then get you a little bit of extra bread. You know what I'm saying? Put it away. Get you a few analogs. Maybe get you a couple new keyboards and stuff, man. Stockpile.
I don't.
End up getting like some monitors and some stuff. Some fun shit.
I don't really need too much new right now. I might need to get me another interface, but other than that, like I think that's really the only thing as far as that. But with the fighting, like I was telling you earlier, man, it's just fucking support. Because with me fighting right now, I'm not a pro. I'm an amateur still. So with me doing MMA, they're giving me $5 for each ticket, and then if I do grappling with it's a place in Fayetteville, Garami. I really like going to their stuff because I like what they're doing. They're trying to make sure that the athletes and stuff get a better percentage of like the pay and
Hyper.
stuff like that instead of just being like, hey, we're gonna charge $50 for the ticket and then we're not gonna give you nothing or we're gonna give you like $5. Like I think the
Mm,
first event I went to, which was that super fight that I had against Alex Canton, that was combat jujitsu. They paid, I think they charged $20 for that one. And for each person that came, you got $5 out of it. The second, it was 10, and every person who came, you got five out of it still. Um, Only problem was nobody fucking came. So yeah, I didn't get shit. I enjoy it. Like I just did it for the love of the game. Don't get me wrong, but like yeah, nobody came except Irv.
yeah.
He came to my combat jujitsu, but he couldn't come to the other event.
For sure. Yeah. Just gotta turn over itself. In a way. Eventually. Just depends on how far you want to end up taking it. That's the big thing. The octagon is big. Like it's bigger than anything else right now.
Uh, it money wise, I mean,
Well,
well, fan wise, yes. Money wise, no. I was about to say
I was about to say boxing probably still has
it's
some of
a
the better
lot better
deals right now
money.
too, right?
There's a lot better money in boxing and maybe even kickboxing, depending on what promotion
Mm.
you're in. But um, yeah, MMA. It's weird, man. MMA pay is weird. Because when you go pro, I know for a fact because I know a few pro fighters who have went pro since I've joined my gym, and then just some other people that I've known just from like talking to people at events. Um, when you first go pro as an MMA fighter, that check, at least in North Carolina, 9 times out of 10, that fight pay is going to be 300, 300, which means 300 for you showing up and 300 if you win. And they might give you, I don't know how they dish out bonuses, like if you get knockout submission, stuff like that, but I know guaranteed it's going to be 300, 300.
Mm.
Which great
For
if
your debut.
you said what?
That's like your debut.
Yeah. Now, yeah, once you climb the ranks as a pro, you obviously get paid more. But like I know in North Carolina, at least right now, if you're doing one in North Carolina, it's probably gonna be 300, 300.
For sure. Would it be a broadcasted one, or is it like it just depends on
Most
it
of
just
them are
depends on the situation?
most of them are broadcasted here. I think there's one I'm not sure about because I've never really watched their stuff too much. I was supposed to have, I think, a fight with them, but it got canceled. It was UBG. I'm not sure about them, but I know as far as all the local stuff, I know Fight For It does. Um, Fight For It does. Titans of the Cage, I think, does too. Conflict, I know does for sure because I think they're trying to get on UFC Fight Pass. And there's another one that I'm thinking of. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Oh, Rocket Combat Sports.
Okay. Okay. Oh, but yeah, man. So I appreciate my boy Train Smoke 5 man today. It's been another episode of Fresh Fridays. I'm your man DJ 1010. Gonna catch y'all next time.